rusty wheels and knew I'd take her home. I brought her to my farm in an Amish neighborhood where simple living's valued. She'd be loved and understood. I put her on a treadle stand and coaxed her wheel to turn. I felt her joy and easing with my study and concern. I cleaned her and I oiled her, showed her off to all my friends, repaired the hurts of years, and let her sew again.
Hello everybody, welcome back. So this fun little machine here needs a little help. Never heard of a Demorest before I got this, and I just did a quick little search. Not a lot out there, but it looks like they were made in northeastern Pennsylvania, and there were a couple different models. Some had like an I-shaped base, and this one that has the rectangular base is a later model. So I'm going to guess she's around 1905 to 1907. But as you can see, her wheel does turn. Everything else is pretty nasty. There's a couple decals that are still good. Most of them are silvered out, so she is going to be stripped and repainted. But because her original decals, they look kind of like daisies or dandelions or something, I'll probably try to incorporate that motif back into her, you know, an homage to her original look. So I'm going to go ahead and get started taking her apart. Okay, so get my little gloves on here. I'm not too sure how much I'm going to get stripped off today because I got stuff I got to get done in the house, but I just wanted to get her started. I'm going to get started taking her little tension mechanism off up here just because I don't want to bend it. And like I usually do, as I pull off each little component, I'm going to put its little pieces into its own Ziploc bag and then stick it in my container here. And let me do that for this and we'll go on. I'm going to try to pull the bobbin winder off. There is a single screw over here, which should, there we go. Love the ratchetiness of that. Okay. So this screw is loosening, aren't you? Yes, you are. And this, of course, will have to be totally taken apart. And since this is a simpler treadle, I will probably show you that process too. Come on. It's a long bolt. Okay, so there's a bolt. Here is the bobbin winder. Now, since there is parts on this bobbin winder that I'm going to be painting, I will take that apart in this video. I'm going to take the little shield off here. I think I need a different head, a different little screw. I'm going to clean out that slot with an X-Acto knife because it's full of junk. Okay, let's give this a shot. There we go. Okay, so there's the cool little shield. That's going to polish up really nice. All right, so this is the front plate. It looks kind of similar to some new home kind of machines. And it looks like it uses one of those longer, older style needles too, which, you know, we can make work. So actually, I'm going to pull that needle out first because I don't like getting stabbed. So there's like a little butterfly shaped piece back here, which should unscrew, but it's awful tight. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some penetrating oil all over the place in here and let that rest for a minute. I'm going to take, this is the lifter lever. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because I don't think I can pull the front of this plate off with it in position. That is stuck on really hard. I actually cracked one of my little bits trying to get it off. So what I'm going to do, put penetrating oil on there, squirt it up inside here because I bet if that's stuck, everything inside of there is stuck. all the way up around. And I'm just going to walk away from this for a while. I do have a lot of stuff to take care of inside my house today. So just letting this sit in here, maybe even overnight, I don't know. I might be out later on today. That's going to let it do its thing. And I'm using a Schaefer oil, you know. Use Croil, use whatever you want. That's what I have on hand. So I will see you later on. Okay, so I just came back up here to grab a screwdriver, actually. I thought I'd give it a try, and this came loose. So we have our screw on the floor. Okay, this, and then there is a tiny washer that goes back between here and the plate so it doesn't get scratched up. So that is good. I've got a couple screws on this side. I know that as soon as I pull this plate out, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on in there, and I cannot get this unscrewed back here, and I don't want to break this little paddle. So I'm going to work on these two screws right here. They're laid on our side so I can get better leverage because it took a second and a bit of heft to get it started. One dirty screw. And another dirty screw. All right, I'm going to try to just run my X-Acto knife down the little connecting point because there is honestly so much goo in here before I start trying to separate the pieces. This might be a little bit helpful. I don't know if you can see, but it's like right in here. There's all kinds of stuff right where those two plates are meeting. So just trying to find a way to get it started. Okay, still trying to get it open, but what I did is I unscrewed and took off the finial up on the top to relieve pressure on this foot down here so it could come up and was not pushing up against the feed dogs. Let me see. Stick a little piece of wood down here. While I was scraping around, I saw there's two more screws up here and down here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those two. But I did get it very clean all the way around. So that's a good thing. So, yeah. Oy, very stiff. Let me try to get my ratchet in here. There we go. All right, so 4 screws. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Okay, so I pulled out these on the bottom. Now this is the front of the machine. The one that came out that's closest to the front is longer than the one that goes in the back by probably about 1/4, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. Just keep in mind, longer one in the front, shorter one in the back. Okay, so let me bring her up and get these two out. Again, it looks like there's a shorter one in the back. And I'm guessing, sorry, I didn't mean to drop that. I can tell the plate is starting to come loose. Let's see here. And a longer one. No, wait a second. Yeah, longer one in the front and shorter one in the back here too. So I'm going to tip her up and let's get a look at what's going on in here. All right. This does look very similar to some of the other machines, new home kind of machines that I've done. That's an interesting little mechanism with this tiny spring, and the spring does look intact, so that's good. Okay, that's the little paddle I was trying to turn earlier. I'll just have to work on that separately, but that's very, very filthy. And all of this, let me just set this down and deal with all the pieces one at a time. So there is a little bearing right here I don't want to lose. That is what's going to be traveling back and forth in this little groove here. So I'm going to keep this, all of this needle bar stuff together in one little bag, and then all the presser bar stuff in another bag, and then all of the stuff that has to do with just the plate and its screws in another. So looking at the presser bar, I have the finial right here that gets screwed in the top. Set that over in a dish. And This is all very tight. I'm gonna deal with that. Right now I'm just gonna keep it all together and pull it off. I need to loosen up this screw here, and I think that will release the clamp so I can pull the presser bar out. Okay, I had to go over and actually use my impact wrench to get this out, but it's out now and it's fine, it's safe. So if I twist this, I can see that it's loosening up. Let me see if I can work it all the way out the bottom. Looks like so. Okay, so we have our little spring at the top. And this is the way the foot looks right now. I don't even know how tight this is. I do have a thread cutter there that I don't want to cut myself on. My hand is very greasy right now, so I need this ratchet to be able to hold on to things. There we go. Okay, so if I loosen up, this is the back screw. It goes in the very back here. This should unscrew. Well, let's go ahead and loosen up the bottom here also. There we go. This is the bottom screw. Let's see how it looks different from the back one. The bottom one has a much shorter little threaded area. Oh, there goes the little presser foot. And this should come off. Well, that is loose, maybe. Okay, so that little nut is coming off. This thread cutter should come off. Okay, it has a tiny little screw holding it on. There's the thread cutter, nice and tetanusy. I'm just going to leave that the way it is. I think we're fine there. So that is the whole presser foot mechanism. Okay, while I was working on that presser foot, I just ran the tip of this part into the ultrasonic cleaner just to loosen up some goo. I'm able to pull this off now. I wanted to get this needle out. It is so gummed up. I'm trying not to stab myself, of course, because that's never good. Well, give me a minute to work on this. It's just really gummy. I was able to tap it out. So this is the needle. I'm going to keep it just so I can match something else up to it later. But I'm going to stick it inside of this little sanding pad just so it does not cut me as I'm fumbling around for things. So that's going to go in with this stuff. This is the little screw that was holding it on. You can see maybe that there's a hole right there that the needle went through. Can you see? I know my hands are very dirty. That's just life. So yeah, all of this will of course need to be thoroughly decontaminated because it's thick with a lot. Well, it's like almost 125 years of yuck. So, you know, that's to be expected. But we're going to make her beautiful, don't worry. One last thing, this part here, I almost forgot it, this clamp should pop out. I think it's too dirty to pop out. And that should go with all of the presser bar stuff. So I'm just going to scrape some of this thickness off here, and hopefully that will work through. Maybe, you know what? Let me unscrew this little screw here a little bit and see. Sometimes that contracts things a little bit, so give me a minute. Okay, so I'm pulling this little screw out of here because sometimes when that is pushed in all the way, it like spreads these two halves apart, so it'll won't come out easily. And now there's no reason why it shouldn't come out, besides all the dirt. I may need to get a little tap in there. Here, just something big. I don't want to destroy anything, but just something big. Let me put a little tap in. There it goes. All right, so this is the little clamp that was inside. All right, and I'm going to keep that and the little screw that goes along with it in with the presser bar. Okay, so now we have this little tension mechanism in here. So it looks like I have a bigger screw here, a smaller one here, and that smaller one, it looks like is just for this to wrap around. Yeah, okay, so this little L piece just kind of braces over this screw. So I don't really even need to take that out, but to clean it. And this end of the spring gets latched over that nub. Okay, so I'm going to set that down there. This spring, you know, it's kind of symmetrical. Needs cleaning. And let me switch out my bit to take this screw out here. Okay. Back in camera zone. And this screw is coming out. So there it is. Okay. And this comes out. All right. So this is on the outside. The thread's going to be around there going back and forth. This is very thin and delicate. It's almost like a spring. It's very thin. So I want to make sure I don't bend that. I'm going to leave this on. It's a thread guide. It looks like it's bent in a little bit. I may need to bend it out just a hair like that, so it's not touching up against the metal. And now I have a little bit of a gap there, so I think that is good. I don't see a screw that's securing that in, so I'm thinking it's just pushed into the metal, and I don't want to risk breaking it right now, so that's going to stay. So this is going to get a bath. This is all going to go in its own little baggie. Okay, while I'm here, I might as well work on this bobbin winder because I do need to get it disassembled. So it's the little bolt that was connecting it. Okay, oh my gosh, look at that tiny, tiny little nut back there. It is tiny. You know what, I need to scrape around that with my X-Acto knife just so I can get a grip on it. Usually you have to grab and unscrew the nut in the back, but actually, you know what, that might be, well, hang on, let me clean it up for a second here and see what we have to work with. Ignoring that piece in the back, and first of all I'm going to come and deal with this little follower arm. Try to clean out the little slut some. And it is unscrewing, so that's good. Hang on. Okay. The spring does feel like it's strong, so that's good too. Okay. Here's it's got a little shoulder on it. Here is the follower arm. Okay. Let's see what this spring is going to deal with here. Ooh, it's nasty. You know what? That is so glued in there. Since I'm going to be stripping this anyway, I may have to dunk this whole thing into the ultrasonic cleaner and have it try to remove some of that yuck, just so I can pull that spring out. In my cleaner, I have it a mixture of half and half with purple power, degreaser, degrimer, whatever, and water. So it works usually pretty strongly to get rid of ickies. Okay, this is the one I'm concerned with, this back piece, but it didn't look like a nut on the back. It looked round, so I'm hoping I can just unscrew this. And it looks like I can, so yay. Okay, so there it is. There's a shoulder on it. Pulling this off, is there a washer? Is there a washer? Do we have a washer? We have a little blip. Oh, that's just dirt. Okay, never mind. No washer. It just is what it is. I'm going to throw this in the little ultrasonic for a minute and see if I can do something to loosen up everything so I can pull that spring out. Just notice that up here at the top, this casting piece that the tension is on comes off. So I can remove that for when I'm painting also. So here's a very nasty screw. It looks like it was shiny at one point, so that's good. And let me see if I can wiggle this piece off. Okay, lift it off. There's a little pin here that lines up with a pin on here, but I think it's going to be good to paint this piece separately. So put that up there, and this I'm just going to polish up. So I'm going to put it in a little bag and note what it's for so I don't lose track. Okay, the front plate slid off really easily. As usual, the back plate does not want to. Let me see. I'm going to put a piece of wood up against it and try to tap it out. Still does not want to come out. You know, probably hasn't moved in a long, long time. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this plate off. It's got a screw right here that I need to clean out. Okay. Do need a different bit. Hang on a second. Okay. It's coming out. There's the plate screw. Let's see if this will pop up. Maybe. Maybe, kind of. Okay. I just tapped it from the bottom to pop this out. It looks like it's in good shape. It's just filthy. So with that out of the way, I'm going to bring the shuttle forward and get it out of there. Let's see. Looks like it has a good bobbin in. So that's great. Let me go ahead and get this put in its own little baggie. Oh, I can tell you, I got my big gun out and I'm tapping and tapping and absolutely nothing is happening. So I might put it in the stripper with this in, and then after it has been in the tank for a while, it may release some stuff here so that I can slide it out, because I don't want to break it, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and get started with this stuff here. Looking inside, I can see there's two forks. So there's a fork here and a fork here. So I might be pulling both of those forks out yet. I have not decided entirely, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the stitch length knob and this little stitch length plate off. Again, cleaning out the screws so I can even get a screwdriver in there because they are nasty. Okay, I got those screws out. There it is. So that is what the guide looks like. Again, she will be pretty, and you can tell that she was shiny. It looks almost like a brass kind of color instead of a chrome, but we'll see. That might just be the nasties, you know, poking through. So let me get all of that put up. Alrighty, we'll try to take this wheel off. There was no screw up here, this just unthreads. I don't really see a clutch mechanism going on here. There's got to be something, I'm probably just not seeing it. Looks like there's a screw over here on the side. Again, let me clean it out. Let's see if I can back this screw out here. That's going to be hard to get to with that. Long screw. Okay, there's that. Will you come off now? Let's see if there's any more screws hidden. Don't see any. Let me just wiggle it for a minute and see if it's going to pop off. Right now it's not wanting to come off. I don't want to tap too hard, so I just sprayed penetrating oil all in there. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. Put its parts over to the side and start working on whatever is going on underneath here. Okay. So I think I'm going to deal with this piece first because it's further out than this one, so make it easier to get to. Over on the side here, there's a few screws that's going to pull this plate out, and then I'm going to be pulling this off. So let me see if I can flip her this way so you can see a little bit better what I'm looking at. Okay, there, maybe you can see. All right, so I've got a little screw here and a screw here that I'm going to try to back out. And this one is coming out very easily, thankfully. It's a large, funny shaped screw. Let's see what we got here. All right. Look beyond the crud, but that's what it looks like. And it's round here like it's a bearing that needs to be able to move like that. So that's what's in this big hole. Okay, so this is now loose up there. And I'm going to go ahead and get this one out. This is what the feed dogs are connected to. So I'd like to get that out of the way. Okay. Okay, so pulling out this much smaller screw with a little flat part. I can't tell if that's a separate washer. Yeah, that is a separate washer. It was just glued on. Okay. Hopefully I can dislodge those feed dogs now. Let's see here. There it goes. All right. So now that's what that screw is holding this in. So those are the really nasty feed dogs. I'm going to keep that with its screw in its own little bag. Okay. So let me see if I can show you this. This part I can just wedge it up with my screwdriver. Okay. Now there's like a fork down here. I need to pop it down that way so I can lift it up and off there, because there's a pin that's going straight through there. Okay, so there's that very nasty piece. And I think I'm going to keep that with the feed dogs too, because that's part of the same mechanism. So now I have this big screw here that I need to remove because I need to be able to get this out. Over here, I'm thinking once I get this out, I'll be able to pull it out from this part. We will see. I'm going to keep this little round screw that goes at the end over here with it for right now, just so I won't get it lost. All right, that required, power again, but got it out, got it loosened. So that's the big bolt. Okay. And I can just wiggle it out now. All right. This looks pretty symmetrical. The top and the bottom look very much the same. It looks like it's slightly curved one direction, and if it's curved that way, it's curving up towards the base, but not by much. Let me see here. If that is one way, that looks pretty flat, and if that is the other way, yeah, it is curving up slightly. If you can see right there. So it's slightly curving up towards the casting. That's the big difference. Let me get this and this piece here. I don't know that I'm going to be removing this. Let me see if that's even a possibility. Well, maybe it is. It's got a screw right there. I'm going to give it a shot, see if I can take that screw out. It came out, so here is the outer screw. It looks like we have a washer. Okay, this goes through a washer. And then, will this just come out? Maybe. Looks like it's wanting to. Hang on a sec. There it goes. All right, so that's going to stay with the rest of this stuff, and it's all going to be super clean and shiny when it goes back on. See if I can show you what's going on here. I basically have 3 forks, okay? This that is coming down here, that we just separated that piece from, if I wiggle, that is the center one, but they are connected right there, okay? So in order to get this out, I'm going to have to pull this screw out. And I think in order to get to that screw, I'm going to need the wheel to be gone. You know, it's kind of a sequence kind of thing. So I might leave that for now, throw some more penetrating oil in there, on the inside, everywhere, just so it can be thinking about itself. But it is moving, so if I turn this wheel, that's what it's looking like inside, okay? So, oh, hang on a second. Here's something moving. There's a little block right here that stitch length knob was connected to. I'm going to try to slide it down. I think once I get this fork out, I'll have access to it. But that's what's knocking up and down. If it was free, it would want to slide up. You can see it right there. This is just too gooey to slide things around right now. So back under here, I'm going to take the bobbin holder off. Okay, here's its little screw, and it's a very dirty little piece. Let me see what I can do to get this big screw off right here. Okay, that was a tougher one to break. Basically, I flip it upside down into a wood vise I have over on another work table. Big screwdriver with vice grips and crack it. So that did get this started. Okay, so there's that big screw. I think I feel another screw over here. Disassembling is always arm day over here. Looks like I have a screw right here, if I clean it out enough. There it goes. Okay, so there's a smaller screw, little guy. And now, can I loosen this up? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe throw some penetrating oil on it and heat it up. Scrape some of the loose goo off. It should come off. I'm going to have to work on that. Just give me a few minutes. Okay, I think I felt it moving. Well, the entire thing is moving. You see that up at the top? It's not just a single piece. It's the entire deal is unthreading from the top. So that's a little more than I was bargaining for, but you know, I'll take it. I will take it. Okay. All right, so now this comes out. There's a little screw there that works like a clamp to push that in and out, and that's fine. I'll polish. I did make a tiny mark on there. I'll polish that off. And it looks like this is some kind of a threaded washer or something there. I'll probably just keep this as is and clean it up really well, complete, because it does not want to come apart at this point. But the bottom is open, so that's great. I was just thinking some people might be new to my channel and don't know how I clean. Basically, I clean the best I can, and sometimes it takes 3 or 4 different methods. I do have my Purple Power in my little ultrasonic cleaner over there. Oop, there she is. You know, she's just a little, you know, home style one, but for most of the things she works. She's a little small for larger pieces like this, so I've got Citrol. It's another Schaefer deal. Spray that on there with a wire. It's a little brass brush to wiggle stuff in. And this works honestly on smaller parts too. And then I can take off my crud layer by layer. And when I get down to the point where it's just dealing with the finer details and most of the heavy duty grit is gone, then I can bring out my Dremel with the wire wheel and do some finishing. Okay, and also I have this wheel over here. It's got, let's see, a little harder abrasive over there, and then the polishing wheel over here. It works fabulous, so I love that. But that's how I'm cleaning, just basically one little baggie at a time. I take a dirty one out, clean it, put the clean one in there, and I just keep going until everything is clean. So now you know. I got the other plate off, so that's something. I'm still trying to figure this wheel out. It's not coming off. I can't get a gear puller in here. Just the way that this is all shaped, I can't get it in here. And these two operate separately. And this little threaded part is turning when I turn the wheel. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on. It's a little bit different from what I've seen before, but you know, you give me long enough, I'll figure it out. Well, good morning. It is the next day, and I just came up. And after thinking about it all night, I think I'm going to send her into my hot tank as is. And then hopefully once she comes out, I'll have better success getting that wheel off. It's just not wanting to come, and I don't want to pound it anymore because I don't want to damage anything. So right now everything is still turning, and we're going to leave it like that. So I'm going to put her into my tank. I'm going to leave her in there on hot probably all day because she's got a lot of grimy chromies that we need to get off. And so next time you see her, she's going to be clean and shiny and ready for her new paint job. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.